We've got one more match here tonight, and it is going to be an epic.
This match is going to be the most dangerous match you see this evening. The fans all night have been baying for destruction. And now, in Falls Count Anywhere, it's going to be right in their lap.
It certainly is. And this man, Gunnarsson, I had a little bit of a chance to preview some of the action from the previous show. And Gunnarsson is a unit and a half.
Gunnarsson is a warrior. An honorary member as well of Project Mayhem. The strongest man in Project Mayhem.
Really? I would have thought. I thought you said that John Allen's was before.
No, he's the manliest man. Though I wouldn't let Gunnarsson hear me say that too close to him.
Yeah. What about Shawal the Great? Are you happy for him to hear that you've just called another member of Project Mayhem? Or
hey, he's the muscle. He is the muscle. That doesn't mean he's not strong. But this man right here, he's just that cut above.
Tonight,
you're trying to get me in trouble.
Hey. I've done that. Hey, it's all you, sir. All you. You're the one saying these things. I'm just holding up a mirror.
You're coercing me into saying these things.
The one thing I will say is that James Mason here is indeed a legend of British wrestling. And there's a little bit of history here with an attack from a couple of shows ago. And James Mason was on the... he was in a match with Dante for the British... I do apologise, I'm losing my words here.
Put your teeth back in.
Yeah. James Mason was in a match with Dante Durden for the New British Promotions Heavyweight Championship, and Gunnarsson levied an attack on him, which cost him that title. And right now, this is our chance for a little bit of revenge from James Mason.
Oh, careful what you wish for, Mr. Mason. You might be a legend in the British wrestling industry. But you're about to hit a wall. The second wall we've seen in Project Mayhem tonight.
Yeah, Gunnarsson with his heavy artillery there that we're expecting.
You could call him the Big Gunnarsson.
Most definitely, and he's going to be looking to unload some ammunition on James Mason. James Mason, I mean, if you've seen this man wrestle before, you will know just how technically sound and how much experience he brings to the table. Gunnarsson is going to have to pull something very special out of the bag.
Well, he wasn't pulling anything there. He was pushing him straight into the corner and showing him who's boss.
Well, I don't know. This is a little bit of it's all part of the feeling out process, this, when it comes to an actual match. I mean, it's difficult to tell what you're up against when you're being jumped from behind, but you got to gauge your opposition's strengths. And there we go, straight into that very quick switch into the headlock by James Mason.
If you notice, this is where a man of his caliber comes into play. He's not just snatching a headlock on and holding it there. He's grinding his forearm into the face of Gunnarsson.
But Gunnarsson taking somewhat of exception to that, and now is grinding his fists into the side of the head of James Mason. Nothing pretty about that. That's just a straight fist to the middle of the forehead. But James Mason, I think he's found his level here. And if Gunnarsson wants to drop bombs, James Mason will most definitely return fire.
Once again, careful what you wish for. He's asking, do they want some more? Well, it looks like Gunnarsson's going to be the one giving more. A double club straight into the back, into the upper back, right between those shoulder blades. Got to be careful with an area like that. If you can hit him hard enough, you can pinch a nerve, which is going to be really difficult for him to lift him up later on.
It certainly is.
And of course, the false count anywhere aspect is now coming into play. Yep. As you see the referee, all he can do is follow along. There's no countouts here.
James Mason, again, he's rallying to the crowd, but that's giving Gunnarsson time to recover.
The last thing you want to do is go give him room to breathe.
He's not at the moment.
First cover. Taking full advantage of this stipulation. The first cover of the match is outside the ring. And now those people on the merchandise table need to be worried. They've got two big boys in front of them.
They certainly have. Mason and Gunnarsson are getting a little too close for comfort there. And there's the stock of extra furniture. There's a lot of sharp edges in there, and a lot of hinges.
He's trying to redecorate Gunnarsson's face.
I don't think I've ever seen that book of feng shui, but...
and he's out the door.
It certainly is.
Well, the pins can count out there.
Exactly, falls can count anywhere. Now, we'll try and stay with this as long as we can, folks. Obviously, it's difficult to see much out there because of because it's night time.
Using the fire exit to his advantage right into the base of the leg there.
Yeah, push bar to open. I think the corner of that bar just nearly opened up the quadricep of James Mason.
Looked like it went into the lower back, right to the hip area.
That's...
he's not careful. James Mason could end up with a bit of sciatica from that.
It's certainly going to put him at a disadvantage when it comes to using the strength in certain areas of the mobility that you need to pull off some of these.
Well, he's now destroyed somebody's chair. If somebody's got to a toilet, they've got nowhere to sit when they come back.
Yeah, he's just using another chair as a necktie on Gunnarsson. There's a lot of malice in here. I don't think I've ever seen James Mason this fired up. I don't think I've ever seen him this violent.
Well, you've been talking about all the underhanded tricks tonight. James Mason seems to have been schooled in them himself.
Certainly, yeah.
But that's all it took. One kick right into the knee to change the tide of this match.
And Gunnarsson now taking a moment to breathe. Because you need that oxygen in your lungs. You need that oxygen flowing around your body. But again, you got to weigh that up against giving your opponent time to recover and time to walk it off when it comes to...
Hang on, where's Gunnarsson going now? He's looking under the ring. Hang on. You heard him, he said it's time to score. Yeah. Back of the net.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Yeah, very literally.
Hang on. He's got his arm trapped in that net. And he's going to work. He's going to town. Right on the crook of the elbow.
And James Mason's hand is very badly caught in that net. It's...
Now he's going for that cover.
You've got to think that...
But the net was actually working against him. He couldn't pin his shoulder down. What was I saying earlier on about between the shoulder blades making it harder to lift? Now, with one elbow out of action, that could be curtains for any kind of power offense that James Mason could bring.
Certainly could, as we've seen that elbow, we've seen that elbow absolutely dissected there in just a moment. It's like it's being rammed through a grinder.
Hang on.
But
But he hasn't taken out the feet.
Baseball slide style drop kick.
This is what we've been saying all night. You can't give anybody a moment to breathe. You cannot give any kind of distance because they can recover. Big a man as Gunnarsson is, it looks like he hasn't learned the lessons that other people have learned tonight. Well, that was an interesting place for the cover, right on the apron.
Well, as I said, there's no rope break here, and falls do count anywhere. But look at this. James Mason tying the long hair of Gunnarsson around that bottom rope.
Trying to rip them right out of his head.
Well, again.
Just jealous because he's got no hair on his.
He was going to take some of Gunnarsson's.
It's going to take more than just a little bit of Gunnarsson's hair to make a toupee for that chrome dome. Big lariat right from the outside in.
Massive springboard lariat. Again, only enough for the two, but you could see where you mentioned the hip before and the upper leg, lower back area. You've got you could see that that kick out was not. There wasn't as much behind it as you would normally expect from James Mason.
That's right, because you've got to use your hips to power up and round. It's not just lifting your shoulder off the mat. You really got to push the weight off, and that's where the power comes from the hips and the leg. If he's damaged that, it's going to really compromise his ability to kick out of even the most simple cover.
And Gunnarsson now taking advantage of the slower pace that he's brought to the match.
That was a big stalling double axe handle there from the Viking.
And right now, again, just stretching out the neck and throat over that bottom turnbuckle. Downward pressure on the throat.
See, what I've been really appreciating about some of the consistent offense that comes from Gunnarsson is when he kicked out of the pin earlier on. I don't know if you caught it.
Wow, massive.
We certainly caught that drop kick.
Massive drop kick. Again, he's favouring that leg.
He's lifting him up by the ears. And once again,
straight uppercut, measured, well paced, drops the elbow.
So Mina's foot's on the ropes.
I think that momentary distraction from the referee there, it's James Mason's locked an armbar on from underneath, and Gunnarsson raking the face to escape.
Like we said, no disqualifications in this particular matchup. Oh!
Black hole slam.
Straight to the center. Wow, I'm tongue-tied now. Straight into the center of the ring.
But Gunnarsson has picked James Mason up. He's not finished with him.
He's holding on to him. He's keeping control. This is what I was trying to say earlier.
He could have taken the three there, but he's lifted the head and neck of James Mason up. This could be a...
And I think I see why.
Oh, here we go. Project Mayhem.
Project Mayhem are here for
Circling
retribution.
Like vultures. Absolute pack of vultures.
Like you said last month, he tried to take a championship off of Dante Durdle, who's right there holding a kendo stick. Well, hang on. Well, this isn't fair.
Horace and Tommy Rocker are back.
And Mason
just almost put that chair straight back through the face of Shawal the Great, but that chair is now in the hands of Gunnarsson.
And it's right to the midsection of Mason and over his back.
Brutal.
And that's why they call him Shawal the Great, because that was a great bit of strategy right there.
And in the absence of Mr. Lee,
the two strongest men in Project Mayhem. Soundbite that bit, send that one to them.
well, they've got the rest of the show to watch there. I'm sure they'll take that up with you. at our next one in Hoyland over in Barnsley.
And he's lifted him up and thrown him across that ring.
Fall away slam. James Mason absolutely rocked. Those chair shots might have done the job. But Gunnarsson,
he's measuring his man. He's measuring his man and he's telling him that it's over. What's coming next is the demise of a legend.
Oh! No. What's coming next is face meeting steel.
Oh!
And a lovely senton. And James Mason gets a 3 count in the center of the ring. James Mason has defeated the big gun of Project Mayhem, and a little bit of retribution.
And sadly, that's all it takes sometimes. It's only 3 seconds you've got to pin somebody's shoulders to the mat. Gunnarsson's still up. Gunnarsson's not dead. And he's kicking himself.
He's not a happy humanoid.
Hoisted by his own petard, the chair that he set up for his own offense.
He's really not happy.
And the win goes to a British wrestling legend.
Gunnarsson still wants to fight.
Referee's getting involved though, he's telling him no.
We've definitely not seen the last of this.
This is unprecedented. I've never seen the winner asked to start the match again. Gunnarsson could definitely go 5 more minutes. He could go 10 more minutes, 15, 20. Well, what disrespect. I thought better of a legend.
If he's associating himself with Mr. Lee, unfortunately he is going to be tagged with that label. And tonight, it's what's in the record book next to his name.
Well, I can assure you that we have not seen the last of Gunnarsson. And you heard it there. James Mason issuing the challenge. It looks like Gunnarsson's accepted.
James Mason!
So we are going to see this one in the future. Gunnarsson.
And my advice is for everybody in this room to clear out right now, because otherwise Gunnarsson could be on a warpath.
Could very well be. Again, when you're in there with a legend like James Mason, when you're in there with someone with that much experience and a man who is that well skilled and that well versed in this human game of chess, you don't see it coming.
James Mason was the better man tonight, but let's see if that's the same when they meet again.
Well, that has been New British Promotions. Here in Rye Hill in Wakefield, it has been epic. We're back again in Hoyland in a few weeks' time. Keep your eyes tuned to the socials for further details. We'll see you next time. For Simon G. Money, I've been the County Durham Dream, Damien Stone. We'll see you next time.